Hey guys, it's Mike. So what happens when, your favorite gaming company, or maybe your second favorite if you're me, releases a new console while still having another console out at the same time? They kind of sort of compete with each other, but at the same time have completely different games and goals. And then they decide to release a revision of console B, which is now technically outdated. Well, I'm sure you've guessed, you get the new 2DS XL right here. Boom. So, some backstory. I decided to buy this because I had bought, like 2 or 3 years ago, a regular 2DS. I bought it because I figured, you know what? I'm going to be playing this at home mostly. I don't care about the folding screens. I don't care about the 3D because the 3D gives me a headache. I just want something decent to play 3DS games, Omega Ruby, and Sun and Moon. Well, it turns out that was a huge mistake because that was by far the worst Nintendo console I have ever owned in my life. For one thing, the screens were trash. Like, I couldn't believe how trash-tastic the screens were. The speakers, or rather speaker, was trash. The buttons were a mushy mess that I literally could not feel when I pressed them half the time. And, I mean, that's really about it. Maybe some 2DSs are better than others, but this is what I found with my specific model. I do know that 2DS or DS quality control lately has been kind of iffy. Like sometimes you'll get good screens, sometimes you'll get TN screens. Who knows? So I decided I'd take the plunge, trade in my 2DS for $30 at GameStop because it's such a great trade-in deal, and pick myself up in orange and white new 2DS XL. So this is the one with the larger screens and C-Stick, along with the updated processor. I mean, this is pretty much the complete package. You can even do amiibos. For me, this is the complete package because it's literally a new 3DS, but a little bit cheaper and without the headache-inducing 3D. So here it is right here. I've got it turned on. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick tour of the console. So on the front, we've got this nice textured right here on the top screen. Very clean, not really any branding, just a Nintendo logo right there. If you go around to the top, you've got your LNR and ZL and ZR buttons, along with, there's actually no game slot up here. There's a charger slot and an IR port, though. If you go along the bottom, you see you've got your power button along with your indicator LEDs. You've got a flap where the game cartridge and the 4GB pre-installed microSD card live. You've also got a headphone jack and the world's most pathetic stylus known to man. I hope there's a third-party one that extends. And also along the bottom, and we'll get to this in a little bit, is the speakers. Great design choice, but we'll get to that. So along the back, again, very minimal, no branding, surprisingly. You've got your cameras on the back too. And along the left side, there is a volume slider, which does lock down. Kind of locks into place on the very low end. And then on the right side, there's a whole lot of nothing. If I open this up, you can see these screens are actually massive. Like, I knew the XL had bigger screens, but I feel like these are especially massive. There's actually decently slim top and bottom bezels on this top screen over here. So you've got your standard affair of buttons. You've got your new C-Stick, which you can use to navigate the menus. I personally hate it. It feels like a Lenovo trackpad nub, but worse because you're controlling it with your thumb. But other than that, you know what? I gotta say, screen on this is pretty decent. I do unfortunately have a TN version. I don't know if there are IPS versions that exist, but to be fair, this isn't the worst TN panel. It gets bright enough for where I play, and the off-screen viewing angles are not terrible. So, just like the regular 3DS XL, you've got a couple different locking points for the hinge. So you've got like a tabletop mode, so to speak. Then you've got your standard play, and then you've got your all the way back, which because of the new hinge design, as you can see, the camera, microphone, and your notification LED are all inside the hinge. I actually like this design a lot. But because of this new hinge design, the top and bottom screen, when you push it all the way back, they're now equal to each other. Versus before, where it would be a little too far back, and you'd kind of have to angle it to get the top screen right. This is actually a very comfortable console to hold, I think more so than the 2DS. And to be fair, the 2DS wasn't the most ergonomically challenged console. Like I said, the big problem with it was the mushy buttons, which half the time, like I said, I couldn't even feel when I was pressing them. It was honestly awful. It got to the point where I couldn't even enjoy Pokemon on it, and I'm surprised that I played through the entire 150cc campaign on Mario Kart 7. Okay, so then there's the obvious, well, Mike, you have a Switch. Why did you buy another 2DS/3DS? Why did you buy something else on that family? The fact of the matter is that I want to play X and Y. I haven't played X and Y yet. I had to get another copy of Omega Ruby because of some rude people in my family, and I want to finish that again and hunt all the legendaries again. Not to mention the other bits of the 3DS backlog. For example, I want to play Majora's Mask 3D, maybe Ocarina of Time 3D, even though regular Ocarina of Time bores me enough as it is. But I do want to play those along with some others. Samus Returns, I want to play that. I've heard Kid Icarus is amazing. Maybe get an Animal Crossing game. Who knows? But there's games that I want to play on here, and I want to be able to play them on a comfortable device. And that's exactly what this is for me. It's a little big, but you know what? I think that's great, and I think that it's still pocketable, honestly, more so than the Switch or even the Vita. I can't put the Vita in my pocket, but this is actually very pocketable. It's still pretty small, and I think that's because of the way they designed the screens and the hinge and everything, so it can still remain pretty small. And the hinge feels pretty solid. There's still that usual bit of wobble, as with any Nintendo DS, but that's to be expected. The actual feel of it is pretty good. Not as premium as a full-fledged new 3DS XL, but it still feels pretty good. You know, it feels solid. I feel like I can put it in my bag and it can take a bit of a beating. I feel like this material might get a little dirty, but I'm not too worried about it. I mean, come on, it's a DS, you know? And it feels like this is going to last me for a while. Like, I can hand this down to someone else as time goes on, and I would be okay with it. So, my biggest con is that because the speakers are on the bottom, most times when I'm holding it, the way I hold it is like this. As a result, you're going from nice clear sound to somewhat muffled sound. It's not the biggest deal, but sometimes I also find if I'm laying in bed or whatever, it'll randomly muffle one side over the other, and it's weird. Also, Nintendo doesn't seem to know how to design flaps, because this one already does not close all the way, and it is driving me crazy. I have the same problem with the game card slot on my Switch, so whatever. I don't know, maybe I just don't know how to operate them, but yes, I am enjoying this very much. I don't have any regrets. I just wish that I did not buy it at GameStop, because it's $150 at GameStop, and it was only $130 at Walmart. So the final verdict on the new Nintendo 2DS XL, I think it's a great console. I think that if you're holding off on getting any kind of 3DS because you're scared that you don't want to pay the extra for the 3D and never use it, well, don't even bother with the 2DS. Don't even bother with an original 3DS. Get the new 2DS XL. And I think it's pretty good deal, all things considered. Maybe not for $150, which, as you can see, I clearly paid for it, and they gave me a display box model too, which drives me crazy because now I have this giant sticker that I won't be able to get off. Whatever. But if you're apprehensive about getting a 3DS, especially at this point, just go ahead and you know what? If you have any thoughts on playing 3DS games, get the new 2DS XL. If you're worried that you're never going to use the 3D, get the new 2DS XL. The best way I could put this, the best way that I can put it for this console, is that it's all the best features of the new 3DS without the extra baggage of the 3D, which also brings the price up. So this gets a solid 10 for me. It's a very comfortable device. Bunch of pros, not a whole lot of cons. This tiny stylus could be a con to some of you, but with the type of games I play, I'm not too worried about the stylus. Plus, I'm sure somebody will make a third-party one that extends like the original 3DS one. But yeah, this is the 3DS to get if you're apprehensive about it in 2018. And I highly recommend it. It's not going to set you back too much, especially if you already have a Switch, then this is a no-brainer. If you're apprehensive about it, I say go for it. No regrets here. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying replaying Omega Ruby. I'm going to enjoy finishing the Moon campaign and catching the small handful of legendaries in there. I think there's like 6 or something like that, something stupid like that. I'm going to enjoy catching those, and maybe I'll grab a copy of Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, but I definitely do need to get a copy of X and Y, and I'm going to enjoy those. I'm going to enjoy Majora's Mask 3D when I finally get it. Whatever Animal Crossing game is on the 3DS, I've heard that's amazing. You know what? I like the 3DS. It's just a shame that I missed out on so much of it because I hated my 2DS so much, so I literally never played it, and it pretty much sat in its box after I played Mario Kart 7 and a little bit of Omega Ruby and Moon. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hopefully I'll be making more videos soon. I did just get a Super Nintendo Classic, so I've got that I'm waiting to do a video on. And of course, there's still a video to be made on my brand new mystery PC, which, ooh, it's running Mac OS. So until next time, guys, peace out.